completed when John and I were in our last year of service in Washington in 2000. I put lots of your money into that human genome research. I wanted to get to the end of the road before I left office so that we could begin to study all the possible mysteries and find all the solutions to all the physical problems that I believe genomic research will permit. But the most important thing that I learned as a layperson from the sequencing of the human genome, with 3 billion of them in our bodies, is that every human being on Earth, genetically, is 99.9% the same. Go figure. Just look around this crowd. Every difference you see between yourself and someone else, the color of your skin, the color of your hair, the color of your eyes, the shape of your body, every single thing is rooted in 0.1% of your genetic makeup. And yet, think about how all of us basically spend 90% of our time thinking about that 0.1%. Right? We do. I mean, even if we don't have to be a fanatic to be like that. They go, I wish I were as thin as he is. I'd like to be as young as he is, but at least I'm not as old as he is. I can't hit a golf ball 300 yards anymore, but at least I can do better than that old coot. You think about it. All of our thinking is like this, right? And it's all rooted in 0.1%. It's okay. Because that's also the source of our created juices and differences. But we need the emotional and psychological freedom that being aware of our common humanity gives us. That's what leads us into service. That's what leads us to make the most of our ability as private citizens to do public good. Most of the people that I work for today didn't vote for me. They live around the world. And most of the kids I'm trying to help, and we'll have 100,000 more kids on AIDS medicine who will now live normal lives this year than last year, they won't know who I am. And by the time they go to school and start reading newspaper articles in Africa and India and China, Latin America, they'll probably never know who I am. But it doesn't matter if we're 99.9% the same, because that's just about 0.1%. That's what I wish for you. The joy that comes from all you got out of this university education to develop your mind and to enjoy what is special and unique about you. Keep in mind, with 3 billion genomes in a body, even 0.1% is a pretty healthy number. But I also wish the peace of mind and the strength of character and the rootedness that comes from remembering what you have in common with others. The other night I was in New York City having dinner with a bunch of friends of mine, and I looked up, and about 2 tables over from me was Rush Limbaugh. And I went over and shook his hand. First time I ever had seen him, I think. Had a little visit with him. And I was so tempted, after all the terrible things he'd said about me, to tell him that he and I were exactly 99.9% the same. And I thought, if I do that, the poor man will run weeping from the room and never even get his dessert. So I let it go. Next month, I will make my annual pilgrimage to Africa to see the work we're doing in AIDS and development, and to share the birthday, the 89th birthday, of my friend Nelson Mandela. When I look at him, I can't imagine that we're 99.9% the same. Because even though we're friends, I hold him in such awe. I say that to all of you to remember that if you put us together from greatest to least on this earth, you could hardly stick a straw between any of us. And I think you will find your greatest power, whatever it is you do for a living, if you take some time to serve, and if you always work on trying to balance the enjoyment of your differences, including vigorous arguments, with the centering power of your common humanity. It is the single most significant thing that you have to do. If you look at the troubles in the Middle East, if you look at how the Shia and the Sunni kill each other in Iraq, if you look at the way the Taliban oppressed women in Afghanistan, if you look at the miseries of Darfur, if you look at people walking away from the realities of climate change, you name any problem in the world, the people driving the division without exception believe that what is special about them and their power and their money and their position is more important than their common humanity or their obligations to the next generation of humanity still to come. That is the fundamental question every single person must answer.